Hello YouTube, and welcome to a very snowy morning in southern Switzerland. It was snowing hard overnight. We had at least 10 inches of snow, and we're still in March. You'd think spring would have broken through, but not here. So I've come down to do a bit of painting and a little bit of walking. And my wife has given me a commission, my first commission, so I've got to do a painting of a sunrise. So I've got everything prepared here. I'm not trained in any way. I just looked at some Bob Ross TV. I like to paint in acrylic, Bob Ross paint in oil, but I do my best. But I do enjoy it very much, and that's the main reason, just for pure enjoyment. I'm not going to sell any of these. So I've got all the masking tape on it, and I'm going to have a go. Let's see how it goes. So this is me all kitted up with my easel. After sketching a rough draft, I just do the first image paint and add some detail. And then I add the shadows and the last fine touches. So that's how it's come out. I normally would paint a frame around it, but my wife already took a look and said it's fine as it is, and she likes it, so I think that's for me a big success. And it's a beautiful day today. It's almost 15 degrees. 2 days ago it was snowing like crazy, and we had about 15 inches of snow, and a lot of it's melted now. The last bite of winter and the first bites of spring. But here it's always a week or 10 days behind, because we're about 1,000 meters here. And today I am smoking Boswell's Best. I jarred that up. I got about 8 ounces. That's all that's left. Going fast. Beautiful, like every Boswell blend. Just wonderful. Well, first I should introduce my pipe, which is a Paronelli Bulldog with one of those square stems turned on the end like a diamond. And it's actually a lovely pipe. It's not big capacity, but it's very handy. It's good for traveling, walking, not that heavy. And it's just like all my Paronellis. I just think they're so great. So, good morning YouTube. Let's go for a walk up into those mountains. Flowers coming out here, look, crocuses. Guten Morgen miteinander. Morgen. Everybody greets in this country, which is quite charming. Good morning. Grüezi, which is like greetings. Grüß euch. So they have 1,000 different ways to say it. That's what's hard to get used to. Southern Germany, they would say Grüß Gott. Servus in Austria, and all kinds of variations. I'm a bit out of breath because I've been doing no sport in recent times, so this will do me good. And then you get a choice. Shall I go that way? You can go through there. Or shall I go this way? I guess we go this way. There's some really magic looking places where, like some of the more remote little huts, there's all kinds of stories about, the witch's house, and my wife tells me about them. She grew up here. That's probably what parents said to them to make sure the kids didn't go too far,
Another choice. I could go along here. This is what they call the Suonen. That's an old Walliser word for irrigation, you know. And they still use them today. Some have been modernised with a bit more modern pipe in it, and some are still made out of the old wood from a couple of 100 years ago. There you go, look. Some lovely blue. Now I want to say forget-me-nots, but they're not. They're something else. The blue ones. This is what I love about walks like this, you know. Just finding flowers, and I'll ask my wife, do you know what that one is? Most of the time she would know, but not always. And butterflies in springtime. Hiking in summer, spring and autumn in the mountains is a lovely thing, and if you only think this alpine area is for, you know, skiing, I would suggest to try it also, you know, in those warmer months for just hiking, and it's marvellous. We've got some company. I'm just looking at this wonderful pond. And typing it on. Ja, ich mache nur so ein YouTube-Video und, von der Gegend hier. Wahrscheinlich das allererste Video von der Fahrt hier, aber nur zu zeigen, wie schön es ist, auch, auch wenn man nicht Skifahren macht oder so, dass man die Blumen bewundern kann und schauen, ob es schon die erste Rossnagel gibt oder so.
Okay. Gut.
Und so, so, wünsche einen schönen Tag. Wiedersehen. So that's how you normal greet, have a little chat. I'm looking for tadpoles here. I think there's some frog spawn there. Maybe they're just about now. It needs to be a little bit warmer, maybe a week or two at the most, and then they'll be about. And after a month, we'll have little frogs. So occasionally, I've metal detected around here. Found a silver St. Christopher from the 1940s. Well, it was only silver plated, but anyway. And about 1,000 bottle tops and sandwich aluminium foils and nails and boot buckles. But that's metal detecting, you know. And that's the Gleeshorn, which a tobacco is named after by a tobacconist in Brigg, who I'll visit one time, who makes an excellent aromatic called Gleeshorn. You can get it online. It's called Tabacchi something, and if you Google Tabacchi Brigg, you'll probably find him. I've actually encountered adders up here in the summer, in that brush. Don't go in there. That's where they like to be in the hot weather. They'll cool themselves under there. This is the kind of place you want to go now. So if you're supposed to minimize our contact because of this cursed virus, you know, why not go for a walk in the woods, the mountains? You know, you might meet people, but no one will give you their hand because of that, but they'll say hello. And they'll obviously be not having symptoms because they're fit enough to go for a walk, so your chances are good. And nature in all its glory. And there's one of these little mysterious paths where you think, where the hell is that going to? Because things change on this route, you know. I'm going up here on the fairy path, the goblin path, I don't know. I made this a live chat, if you asked me 3 questions, you could all help me, couldn't you? And if I win anything, a pot of gold or 3 wishes, and you give me a right answer, I'll share it. Should have brought a bloody flag, shouldn't I? Redcoats return flag. Oh, I must get one made with, you know, I claimed this mountain for Switzerland, but it's already part of it, so nobody will argue that. And I did this without oxygen. How about that? There is a path here, look. Smoking today. Briar Works Peach Cobbler. I treated myself to open this jar. I must have had this 5 months in the cupboard, sealed, unopened. Moisture level is perfect, so these jars, I was always wondering, I think they must be sealed under vacuum, and very nicely sealed too. So when you get them, they won't, even though they're in a jar and not a metal sealed, hermetically sealed tin, they're still in very good shape, which is, I guess, what you would expect from Briar Works, is you know, they know what they're doing for sure. I rather like it. You can get it in a jar like that, which you can reuse. It's an added value as far as I'm concerned. So member of the cast today of the Paronelli Vulcan, we have the Peach Cobbler and a Z-Car, which is almost identical to the Jean-Claude version, which is the one that has also a tamper. Very nice, you know, sort of Corona-like, but a lot cheaper. But so far it's been a good lighter. And I hope it'll be a good lighter here, yes. Well, this is nice. Just how I like it, you know, mild, obviously good tobacco, no harshness at all. You can tell almost if the topping is good before you even lit it, and you just take a suck through the tobacco. You can taste what's coming. This is a nice, gentle, sweet, peachy flavour to it. Oh, I'm going to like this. By the way, I must say this, you know, I was talking about UV and sunlight, and my belief as a chemist, it must be one of the reasons why viruses are pushed back in the summer months. I checked on a number of places, WebMD, Wikipedia about UV and viruses, and some videos which I will attach from an epidemiologist who says, oh, yeah, very clearly, because the sunlight basically through the photochemistry destroys the DNA of course bacteria and that. Any butcher's shop, you've seen that blue light in it, but also viruses, which are basically just a DNA packet, you know. And because they're so small, they're vulnerable to the penetration of those small wavelengths. So UVC will not penetrate your skin. I mean, you shouldn't stare at it, you know, when you use a UV lamp, but it will go for these viruses. So I've ordered 2 UVC disinfection lamps. It's basically a dry way to disinfect. Gives you another alternative. We have the weapons to fight this war.
and we will outwit that stupid virus because it didn't have a brain. And another thing, you can take a vaccine, inoculation. You know, there's one for post a lung infection for the pneumonia, and because that's the biggest risk about this virus, is you might get a post infection in the lung that's bacterial, but you're so full of fluid, then they get in there and then your problems really start. You can take a vaccine injection for that. I've just ordered one with my doctor. I'm going to get it because that's the biggest risk. If you know the pneumonia bit, if the rest of it is just probably makes you have a terrible flu, but you know it's not life-threatening. So that's another way we're going to outwit this bloody virus. Oh, this is really good. Cap off, Briar Works. Also to your pipes, I have one which is brilliant, and it's 9mm. Well, the moss is trying to jump into my underpants, so I'm going to have to stand up because I have now rather wet behind. But moss is very good for cleaning the top of your tamper. That's a good tip. I'm going to turn it off here because going downhill is a bit more tricky. This is Peach Cobbler, Briar Works, and it's Black Cavendish and Virginia. So there wasn't much black in there, but enough to give the sweetness, and Virginia, which is interesting because it fooled me. I mean, the first thing is this is my third bowl, and it's like tongue biteless, perfect. The second thing is it gives a nice amount of smoke, which I thought is a burley characteristic. I'm wrong. It is fairly moist in the can, which is teaching me. Oh, it's got a date on it from August 2019. So it maybe I've got to moisten up some of my blends. I noticed that with the Boswell's Best that it was going a bit fast and a bit hot, and I put a moisture stone now in that little jar to moisten it up a bit because I realised that was too dry. So you always learn as you go along. 3.3 in tobacco reviews, so a lot of people like this very much. Some say it's got a slight rum touch, vanilla touch, and a fruity peach aroma and taste. But yeah, that all adds up for me. It's absolutely excellent. I'm gonna order some more of this. It's actually made by Cornell and Deal. I'll cap off to you as well, C&D, because this is going to be one of my favourites. Well, I made it back to the chalet, but not without incident. So I ended up on my back twice, but apart from a bit of mud on my jacket, my iPad is okay. I guess I folded the flap over and I took it off and had that in my hand that I could release it as I was going down. I got quite a thump in my back and quite a bang on my head, but I don't kill easy. I think Mother Nature was just testing me, you know, but that's okay. I have eternal respect for the mountains, and next time I will think to to put my trekking boots on, which I think would hold better, or just not go when it's still so mossy and slippery. Life kills you in the end, but not yet. Not yet. And since I survived, I have the winner's trophy here, which is some lovely Czech Budweiser. Oh, it's okay. That makes everything okay. The epidemiologist said that alcohol is good against virus, you know. So with that, I close this video. My mountain trek and my painting experience here. And I wish you all a great weekend. Take care, everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.